Do you cringe when you watch the recording of your presentation? You might have thoughts like, oh, I look terrible. I'm so fat. Why did I wear that? The inner critic takes over, jumps in the driver's seat. It's not a backseat driver anymore. It is in the driver's seat. Why do you get so cringy about watching yourself? I want to support you like yourself. Welcome to the She Speaks to Inspire podcast. I'm your host, Julia Kraft, your authentic expression mentor and public speaking coach. So let's dive in. Do you cringe when you watch the recording of your presentation? Are you squinching up your nose when you hear your own voice? Well, today we're talking about that cringe effect when you watch yourself or hear yourself and how you can start to work with that so that you can actually give yourself some feedback on your speaking, because sometimes we don't get feedback from anybody else, right? And it can be really valuable to watch yourself or hear yourself. If you're new to this She Speaks to Inspire podcast, welcome. I'm your host, Julia Kraft, founder of Speak to Inspire Coaching. And over the last 10, 12 years, I've helped thousands of women to get rid of speaking anxiety, get better at their high stakes communications. Today, we are really focused on that inner critic and how you perceive yourself, which is the inner work of confidence. Let's face it, it can feel really cringy to watch yourself or hear your own voice. The inner critic takes over, jumps in the driver's seat. It's not a backseat driver anymore. It is in the driver's seat, running the show, driving that car. You might have thoughts like, oh, I look terrible. I'm so fat. Why did I wear that? You might have thoughts like, my voice sounds so high pitched and squealy. Basically, you're noticing all the bad things. That's all you can see. That's all you can hear is everything that, it's not good. Oh, I did that terribly. I can't believe I said that. Why do I sound like that? All the bad things. Or you might be the kind of person that has avoided watching yourself or listening to yourself for a long time because there was a moment, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago when you caught a glimpse of yourself and you didn't like what you see, you didn't like what you heard. So it's a strategy. Just avoid it. No, I don't know. Maybe that means you don't even like to be recorded. You avoid being recorded. If a meeting is being recorded, you won't speak up or you won't go on camera. Are you avoiding it? If you're relating to anything I'm saying, then the bottom line is you're missing out on opportunities. Missing out on opportunities for self-critique that's positive and reflective, that we could call more feedback that supports your growth, and therefore missing out on opportunities to refine your presentation skills little by little over time, especially if there's no one else to give you feedback, which actually is often the kind of thing that's going on in people's work environments. My job, about 50% of it at least, is to give people feedback, objective, neutral, informed feedback of what they're doing, what they're not doing, and what would be more effective. Feedback is how you grow as a communicator. There's really no other way. You can't see yourself the way that other people see you. To say that slightly differently, you see yourself differently than how other people see you. And that might be great because you might be beating yourself up and everybody else thinks you're doing well. Or it actually might not be so great. Oh yeah, I look fine. I sound fine. And actually, it's not really reaching your audience in the way that you want it to. If you're unable to listen or watch yourself, then that keeps you stuck in the anxiety loop. The loop of hoping, praying that it'll be better next time. Hoping and praying, the hope and pray method, is not really even a method, right? It might be a strategy you could say to avoid, but hoping and praying gives you very mixed results in terms of being strategic to improve your skills on purpose. Lastly, avoiding watching yourself or being super negative when you watch yourself or hear yourself reinforces the inner critic's story, reinforces that inner critic story of negativity, and leads you to identify as a bad public speaker. I'm just not good at this. This is something that I don't do well. Again, I'm going to avoid it. My hope is that we can start to find a way out of that loop for you so you can actually move forward and improve your skills, improve your confidence. I remember I had a client, let's call her Sandy, and she hated watching herself on video. She even hated really seeing herself in the mirror, like spending time seeing herself. There was so much negativity towards how she looked and how she sounded. And yet she was in a role at work where she was in meetings almost every day as the spokesperson for her department, leading projects, but she was sort of hiding behind the title and the role and the work, just doing the work. And it was keeping her in doer mode, which is actually what we're going to talk about in the next podcast episode. Look out for that one. Why did Sandy and other clients that I've worked with, why do you get so cringy about watching yourself? Let's go to the level of the nervous system to start, which is the primal level of your awareness of your nervous system, how you respond to stress and fear and am I safe? The primal brain's job is to avoid pain and seek out pleasure. That is literally its only job. Avoid pain, seek out pleasure. Or avoid pain and seek out well-being, safety, good things. Also, our primal nervous systems are built to scan for danger at all times. And when this is really turned on, psychologists would call it hypervigilance. But it is the nature of our nervous system in general to be scanning, to have a certain level of vigilance, scanning for, am I safe right now? Is there danger? Like, is there a tiger that's about to eat me? Or more practically these days at work, it might be scanning for, what did I do wrong? That might mean that I failed this presentation, which means that I am going to lose my job because my reputation has been ruined, and it starts to be this negative spiral. Versus, just imagine, what if you started looking for what's already going well? Look for evidence of what you're doing right. Look for evidence of how much you know and how well you're presenting it. If you start looking for evidence, it's really cool that you'll start to find it. But our primal nervous system, primal brain, is not fundamentally wired for that. It's fundamentally wired to look for danger and what's wrong or bad. This is deeply ingrained, as well as the habit of the inner critic, which you might have learned from family, other women in your life, and from culture, is really deeply ingrained. It's been practiced for so long, so many years. That neural pathway has been activated over and over and over again. It happens so fast in your mind. You go to inner critic before you even can make a conscious choice about it, right? I'm sure it's not just me. As a last thought to why this is happening for you, I'm going to go deep, and hopefully you can go there with me. There's always a life coaching aspect to the work I do. We're talking about you as a holistic individual, as a whole person that's showing up for an important speaking moment. Self-hatred is one of the ways that we keep the anxiety cycle in place. If you don't like yourself, then nobody else can reject you because you already rejected yourself. It's totally a self-survival mechanism in the brain, and it gets sort of smart, actually. it's maybe a good strategy, but from the frontal cortex, higher consciousness kind of angle, it's definitely self-sabotaging, right? Ultimately, I want you to like yourself more. I want you to see the good in yourself. I want you to see what you're already doing well, because I know there are a lot of things that are great about you. So as we get into the solution here of what you can do to reduce the cringe when you are watching yourself or listening to yourself, keep that in mind, that I want to support you to like yourself more. I talk about this in a lot of my podcast episodes. So if you heard it before, I apologize, but I don't think I can say it enough. I think the more times I say it, the better. Use the 75-25 feedback technique to increase your ability to see the positive in yourself and others, but let's focus on yourself today. When you watch a video of yourself, when you hear a recording of yourself, consciously choose to find 3 things that you're doing well and 1 thing that you would do differently next time. So that's 75% positive, supportive, affirmative feedback and 25% constructive, not negative, constructive, something specific you're going to try differently next time. Can you see how this will completely rewrite the whole habit and cycle of finding the negative and reinforcing anxiety? It takes a lot of conscious effort at first. So I would recommend when you want to watch something or listen to something, just do a bite-sized amount, right? Like listen to 1 minute of yourself and then pause, write down some positive things. If you do notice your voice tends to be high pitched, for example, when you listen to it and you're like, ooh, it's a little sharp with my voice. Okay, what's great about that? There's always value that your natural expression provides. It might not be the expression that would be most effective in that situation. That's possible. But what is the value that it provides as it is? You know, a lot of women get feedback that they sound too young or they're not taken seriously because they have high-pitched voices. What's great about a higher-pitched voice is that it exudes warmth and this sense of like friendliness. And because it has that feminine aspect to it, we tend to just like the person more. Whereas when somebody has a deep voice or a lot of power in their voice, you might really respect them. You might not like them or just feel cozy friends with them as much. So whatever you work towards with your goals, great, but acknowledge where you're at now and what's good about that. The last recommendation is to, as an exercise, do a recording of yourself. Talk about a work topic, talk about a personal topic, even just listen to a voicemail that you left for a friend or something. Something really laid back and make it an exercise of listening to it or watching it so that you can lighten up around this whole thing. Practice your 75-25 feedback when you listen to it or watch it. And bonus points if you send that recording to somebody else and invite their feedback. Ooh, bonus points. I hope today's episode encourages you to confront this learning edge of your cringe around watching yourself, but to do it gently, playfully, with a lot of self-compassion. The only way to the other side to really like yourself and how you show up in the world is to sort of confront it and to work with it as opposed to avoid it. Have fun with your recordings. Have fun with your 75-25 feedback. And if you want more personalized support around working with the inner critic and honing your skills of speaking, I'd be happy to chat with you. Head over to speaktoinspire.com. Thanks for listening. This has been She Speaks to Inspire with Julia Kraft, your authentic expression mentor and public speaking coach. I'm so glad you joined me. And I hope you got so much out of this episode. If you want to learn more about Speak to Inspire training programs and get inspired, head over to speaktoinspire.com or follow us on Instagram at She Speaks to Inspire. Never forget, the world needs your voice, and it's time for you to speak to inspire. See you in the next episode.